what an honor it is to be here this morning. I got to share a little story with your president, though, when he come back to Missouri to see me. For the first time, I hadn't been governor very long, and he come back there, and he's coming back from the East Coast, and sometimes your radar goes up a little bit when the East Coast comes back a little bit, and he come back and he sat down with me, and I wondered how that meeting was going to be as governor, what he was going to say, what were the issues were going to be. And I can't tell you, when he left my office, he doesn't even know this, but when he left my office, how much I believed in him when he left and what he said about all of you that's in this room today and where his heart was at more than anything. And he did a great job giving a sales pitch for the firefighters across this country. But more important, his heart was where it needed to be, because he stood up for every one of you men and women in here in Missouri to tell us how important your issues are on the national level, let alone the state level. And I just appreciate that short period of time we had together, Harold, and back in Missouri. Thank you very much for what you do for this organization. I also got to mention Mark Woolbright from back in my hometown. I know him and some of his guys are around today that are over here. He's a 2nd District Vice President. I also want to mention Eric Latimer. Eric Latimer has been a guy from Springfield. His official title is Director, Missouri State Council of Firefighters Vice President. But he always come to an event I had back then when as a representative, when most people didn't really care whether they knew you very much or not, to be right honest about it. But your organizations have supported me every step of the way. But Eric used to come down here, he used to play golf. And I hope, by all means, he is a better firefighter than he is a golfer. But I will tell you this, if anybody wants to challenge to a beer drinking contest, my hat's off to you if you can win it, is what I can tell you, because he can get that done. You know, it's an honor to be here with a group of people who have devoted their lives to public service and making their communities and our nation safer. A career devoted to the fire service means a lifetime of accepting risk on the behalf of others. It means time away from family and friends to answer the alarm, no matter what the emergency. And it means training to deal with the evolving risk of the 21st century. Fires that spread faster and burn hotter. Hazardous materials that continue to become more complex and dangerous to deal with. And toxic drugs that can put at risk the health of the responders. It means planning for potential catastrophic disasters, like a pneumatic earthquake back home in Missouri or a terrorist attack on American soil. It takes caring people to take on such a mission, and I appreciate all of you for making it your life's work. I know because I have seen some of you at work over my career. I have worked alongside firefighters, EMTs during my 22 years of a member of the Missouri public safety community, 12 of those years as sheriff in Southwest Missouri. During that time, one of my darkest days as sheriff, I lost an officer in the line of duty, a young man that I recruited personally myself. And I very seldom ever did that, but I knew his family, and I knew that he was the poster person that I wanted for my department. And I remember going to his parents' house, sitting at their kitchen table, and telling them how bright I thought his future was in law enforcement. The second time that I sat at that kitchen table was to tell his parents that their son had lost his life in the line of duty. The second thing that occurred some years later, my brother-in-law was an EMT. Good guy, happy-go-lucky guy, doing his job one time. He lost his life in the line of duty. So if there is one person, one governor out there that understands what it is you do and what it is you go through, I'm one of those guys that know what it's like to go through that. And this is not work that attracts people looking to become wealthy or famous. It's a calling for people who want to make a difference and make their communities stronger. My experience as Polk County Sheriff taught me how essential it is to have people you know you can rely on in a life or death situation. People you can trust who know the value of teamwork, like all of you here today. Committed individuals with the right training and leadership, make a great team for the state of Missouri and for all you firefighters across the country. One instance of this team truly coming together to serve back home occurred shortly after I became governor last year. Many of you may have seen when tragedy struck our state, when a duck boat went down in a severe storm on Table Rock Lake. A small Missouri town known as a fun getaway to citizens in our state and across the country became the scene of a tremendous grief and media attention from around the country. If you remember that, some of you do, it was on the national news quite a bit. There was a 11-member family that was on that boat. 9 of those 11 survived. 9 of those 11 were deceased. There was another family of 8 that was on that boat, and all 8 survived. And one of them that was on the deceased was a 2-year-old baby that we went through at that time. And I was in Branson the next morning, and I got to witness several departments responding as one team with the mission of saving lives, recovering the deceased, and supporting the families and the victims. That team included several fire departments from around the area who sprang into action when called upon, working overnight in the aftermath of that tragedy and the days ahead. They did dangerous and selfless work. I know from my time in public service how much of a toll these kinds of experiences can have on firefighters, paramedics, and all other first responders. Amidst one of those darkest days in our state, during my time as governor, it was an honor to witness all the brave men and women who worked together that tragedy together. Dealing with experience like the Branson tragedy takes a toll on individuals' mental health. We know that firefighters suffer from the highest rates of PTSD. That's why it's important we continue to invest in mental health programs at the state level and the federal level to identify, prevent, and treat behavioral health conditions among firefighters and paramedics. We also know that firefighters die at a higher rate from cancer. And I was pleased to see Congress pass President Trump sign the Firefighter Cancer Registry Act last year so that we can continue to collect data on the incidence of certain cancers in firefighters. We have the responsibility as state and federal leaders to identify the dangers firefighters are facing and work to provide support and solutions. The difficult, dangerous work you do every day sometimes comes with the ultimate price. This last fall, we were reminded of that in Missouri when we lost a 42-year veteran of the fire services. Russ Hays had served with distinction for many years and tragically died in the line of duty. Now, when a firefighter like Russ Hays falls in the line of duty in Missouri, there's a special group of individuals who Missouri can count on. They know the importance of honoring those who have made the ultimate sacrifice in service to fellow Americans. Just this last week, I got the opportunity to honor these individuals, the Missouri Funeral Assistance Team, in a ceremony at the state capitol. These nationally recognized group does important work at the toughest times that any firefighter's family can face. Missouri has a survivors benefit program for firefighters, EMTs, and police officers who are killed in the line of duty. Shortly after I became governor last year, the Firefighters Funeral Assistance Team let me know that sometimes the process of getting those survivor benefits to the families who had lost of a loved one was simply taking too much time. And once I did check into that, and I was ashamed what I found out, that it took over a year to get those benefits to spouses. All because a bureaucrat couldn't decide if the individual really died in the line of duty. And I am here to tell you, each and every one of you, that in Missouri, We will believe you and your administration to determine the line of duty death, not some bureaucrat in Missouri's capital. Only because the funeral support team called this situation to my attention could my administration step in and work to expedite the process. We've been thrilled to hear recently that those important benefits are now getting to loved ones much faster. Missouri's funeral assistance team and similar groups around the country truly deserve our thanks for the work they do taking care of survivors and supporting the fire services in the toughest of times. Let me close by saying thank you, thanks to all of you, firefighters, for everything you do on behalf of your neighbors, your communities, and our nation. All Missourians are behind you and praying for you. Not too long ago, I got to listen to a 15-year-old kid give a little bit of a testimonial. And he was talking about the struggles in his own life and where he was headed. And he was headed down a downward spiral, just give up most on everything, give up on his own life, and was making a decision what to do with himself. And the kid basically said this. He was down, decided whether he was going to commit suicide or was he wasn't, or what was going to happen in life. And he come in and he said, he was sitting there and he realized if things were going to change, it was up to him. And he shared 10 two-letter words with us. 10 two-letter words for all of us. And I believe this so much for what we do every day as public servants, is who we are and how we're going to make a difference. And he said, if it is to be, it is up to me. If it is to be, it is up to me. And if we want to make things better, me and you, and if we want to work together and help one another and make this place a better place every day, I would change one word in those 10-letter words, 10 two-letter words. If it is to be, it is up to us. If it is to be, it is up to us to work together. The reality of your work is that you do what most people don't want to do. Whether it's investigating fires or fulfilling other critical tasks, you do things for people you'll never meet, you'll never see, and you will never know. Back home last week, our firefighters started a ceremony at the Capitol with the Star-Spangled Banner, Pledge of Allegiance, and the prayer. Because that's who we are. That's who all of us are. That's who you are sitting here today in this room. That's what you represent. You're willing to sacrifice for other people. That's what our country is based on. And that's why I'm proud to be an American. And it's why I am proud to have the opportunity to serve as the governor of Missouri and to be in your presence today, to be able to speak to you and for what it is you mean. When I served in the United States Army, I said the Pledge of Allegiance every day in the little school in the little town I was from, town of 356. So I come from the big city. But we said the Pledge of Allegiance in school every day. There was 2 flags that flew in that town, one over the post office and one over the school. Until I went in the United States Army and served this country, and I started realizing what truly a public servant meant. And I believe every one of you in this room today are public servants. Truly do. You take your titles away, whether you're the president, whether you're a chief, whether you're a vice president, whatever it might be, take your titles away. I believe we're public servants. All of us are every day. But I did not realize the importance of what the flag of the United States of America meant, or what the flag of the United States of America meant, or the Pledge of Allegiance meant, until I wore that uniform. And I realized it was about what people had done before me that was what was so important. And it gave me the opportunity to live the American dream. Truly did. And for all of you that sit in this room today, that same feeling when you put on that uniform is truly about making other people have the opportunities that all of you have had. Because what somebody had done before you as a firefighter what people had sacrificed everything for you to be able to do what you do. That's truly what the American dream is, and all of us are living it. For the most of us in this room today, we've both had the privilege to live it because what other people did. And I challenge all of you to make sure you pass that down. Pass down the honor and the integrity of a firefighter. Because what you do matters. What you represent from the beginning to where you are today matters in some kid's life. Somebody's daily life sees you, and it matters what you do. That's what the American dream is. And I think for me and for you, it's about making sure that next generation has the same privileges, honors that we've all had the ability to do. It is an honor and privilege to be the governor of the state of Missouri. It's an honor and privilege to speak in front of this group this morning. God bless you. God bless the United States of America. Thank you very much for having me here this morning. Thank you.